And the machines meant to help us are out of control. I have to find a way to fix it all. And the answer is somewhere out in the Forbidden West. But whatever comes,
Gotta get in as many hits as I can. Oh, looks like they called for backup. There, it's primed with plasma. Now to find a way back to the core. They know something's up. That's it. I can climb up from here. I'll have use for these soon enough. Bet I can jump on those metal carriers from here. That's new. I must be getting ready to release it. I need to get to the core, fast. but my stash has room. I can't fight that thing in all this water. I need to hurry. My luck. That thing's not gonna let me get anywhere near the core. I need to know where the water is again. At least give me a fighting chance. To the room I was in before. The only way to lower the water in here. Saw that note before. Maybe you can help me out. And I'm back here. I know it's in this area. Should help me lower the water level. It's the only way I'm gonna get rid of that machine. Should help. Now we can do this on our own terms. Here we go!
We're done here. Time to get those overrides. Time to get some machine overrides. My focus doesn't even recognize some of these. Must be something I haven't seen yet. More incomplete overrides. Cauldron doors. They should lead me outside. This cauldron must have been pumping water in and out to release aquatic machine. I'm getting sunrise. Now I can take to the skies. Get past those lines now.
No harm done. He sure does rush around.
Ah, Savior! Over here! If I'm drunk, you!
Had enough of the wilds. Why not? Come to revel in some strike, sister? Let me set the board.
I was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy on you. You got any pieces?
No.
Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set, a Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a hot spark. I'll give you something special if you win it on my boards, too. All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner? That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move, how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from, and of course, their health. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go. I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward. And remember, each machine can only move. Take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Easy enough, huh? Now, you get to move 2 machines each round, so go ahead and pick a second machine. Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so we're forging onwards. Let me move my pieces here. And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece. When performing an attack, you'll be testing your machine's combat power against the opponent's. A machine's combat power, this board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine's combat power. And your current machine has 2 points of attack power. So in total, your machine's combat power equals 2 points. Since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of attack power. And just like your machine, it's not affected by grassland terrain. So right now, The difference in combat power between the two machines, this means your machine can do 2 points of damage to my machine. Did you get all that? Knew you were a smart one. Finished. Not pulling any punches, huh? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further. Try it out. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, but it will damage your machine's health by 2 points. So use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now so you can see what I mean. That's about it for your turn, then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there, and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those, and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining piece. You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But if you overcharge your machine, you can attack a second time. And by the look of your machine's health, you'd be sacrificing your piece to defeat mine. But sometimes, that can be a good thing. Overcharge your machine to attack mine a second time, and I'll show you. Ain't that a thrill? Now, because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're gonna receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points first. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your favor. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means you're the winner! That wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that. I know it saved my behind in a game or two.
I'll try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be enough to get you in on any strike games you find out there. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn a game in your favor, though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. I know I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out new strike players. Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I've got plenty of other boards. I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
I'll see you later, Aloy.
Well, look who's
Oh.
back.
You want to play, Red? Ah, I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how this one's got all the different terrains you can encounter. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the terrain mainly affects your machine's combat. As you know, when fighting you compare its combat power. The higher your machine's combat power, so finding the right terrain is an essential. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machines. Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Since your machine is attacking, it's also standing on forest terrain with a value. Add those together, and my machine is standing on grassland terrain it's also not attacking, which means their attack. So my combat power is. This means your machine can do. Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, it can also help grab your other piece and place it. Since your machine is attacking, it's standing on grassland terrain. This means your machine's combat power. My machine can't use their attack power, but they have the height. They're standing on. This means my combat power. Now, this means that the spot you're about to, which means my machine gets an extra. If we compare the combat power of both machines, whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. See? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well. That's why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. Useful, right? Okay, now go ahead and end your turn. There's still... All right, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play. Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number and you can spend up to 10. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches is the key to becoming When assembling your army, there are a few things to. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine on your left. All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponent. In other words, its machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this. You can also tell by the shape. A melee-type machine attacks the first enemy within range. We've seen this plenty of times, so... Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner-type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the pieces. Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram-type machine. Attack an enemy with it, and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this. See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage of your opponent if they have the... Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty. When it attacks, it'll move and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the raid. You should also make sure it's able to fit. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in yours. If you look at your notes, you'll notice there's quite a few of those, but I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do. It's got all the tips. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play... Good luck. Board's all yours. Time to make my move. Your move, Red. Just one piece left. Knocked right off the board. Lucky me, you hit armor. That's the game. You up for a rematch? Let's do this. You're up, Red. My turn. Your turn. Just one piece left. That sure dampens the forge. Now that was a game, even if I lost. Here we go. That's it for me. I'm up. Board's all yours. Time to get serious. You're up, Red. Whoa! Got me good. Off the board it goes. Okay, let's see. That was brutal. Well, that's done now. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. I got a tough fight ahead of me. Time to make my move. You got me down to one piece. I am impressed. You got me. Fair and square. Let's play. Time to get serious. That's it for me. Oh, seriously? One less piece on the board. My turn. Your turn. Well, that's done now. I'm up. That was brutal. Your move, Red. Off the board it goes. Okay, let's see. Knocked right off the board. Armor is a machine's best defense. One less piece on the board. I'm up. You're up, Red. Ah, looks like I lost. This is gonna be fun. Okay, let's see. Board's all yours. Well, that's done now. My turn. Your move, Red. Hey! Oh, that was the perfect spot! That was a surprise. Knocked right off the board. Time to make my move. One less piece on the board. That was brutal. Indigit here? Okay. Let's do this. Time to get serious. Your turn. Hey, I like that piece where it was. Ah, off the board it goes. Knocked right off the board. That's it for me. Not that easy to get through my machine's armor, is it? Well, that's done now. Time to get serious. Board's all yours. That was brutal. Okay, let's see. You're up, Red. One less piece on the board. My turn. Your turn. Well, spark my forge. You have beaten me on every one of my boards. Now that deserves a prize, I say. You know where to find me, Red.
This pub never closes!
That's it. Yeah. Open your eyes if you must. You! I know you see me.
You wanted to speak to me?
Well, you know better than anyone it's a dangerous world out there, and not just against machines. Name's O'Dirk. This here's my training pit. Best place to practice close combat this side of the Forbidden West. Say, I wonder who'd win in a fight. You, the savior of Meridian, champion of the East, or the Enduring, master of the West.
Who?
The Enduring, a legendary Tenakth fighter, the master of masters. I've heard the Tenakth have training pits just like this one. It's how the warriors get so fierce, see? And only the very best from the pits get to train with the Enduring.
So to find the Enduring, I should look for these training pits when I'm back out that way.
You'll have to go far if you do. The Tenakth are split into 3 clans. 3 clans, 3 capitals, 3 training pits. My guess is you'd have to beat all of them if you want to train with the Enduring. If the Tenakth don't kill you on sight, that is. But that's a far spark in the wind. As for right now, I also offered challenges to test your fighting skill.
Who would I be fighting exactly? You?
Well, I know you're the savior and all, but you have to beat all the others first to challenge me. Rules are rules. We only use dual blades and practice arrows, mind. These drunken fools would run themselves through otherwise. You'll have to leave everything but your spear and practice arrows at the gate. But I'll look after your gear, not to worry. So, what do you say? Up for some training?
I might be.
That's what I like to hear. Come on. If your opponent keeps blocking, then use a heavy attack or a power attack to break through. Either that or hit them from behind.
Hey, that hurts. He's the one that dealt with the bristlebacks.
I want another couple.
Close attention to your opponent's stance. Read their intentions. Choose your attacks to break their defense. That energy doesn't last forever. Shoot the glowing part of your opponent before the energy fades. You think your spear can deal with that armor? Use attacks to energize your spear. Then hit your opponent with a heavy or power attack to blast the armor off. That spear can give you the edge in battle. Keep energizing it and then your enemies. Triggering those energy blasts should help you vanquish your opponents. Use your blade. Impressive attack. Your reputation. Impressive attack. You earned your reputation. Good. Good. Yield. I yield. Well fought, friend. Well fought.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Ooh. Serves me right for thinking I could go up against the savior of Meridian. Here, have this. A little something for the new champion.
Thank you, Hodirk.
Don't be a stranger now. Come back whenever you'd like to spar again.
I should go.
I'll be here if you want to practice more.
Look, sorry if I gave you the wrong start.
Something wrong with your knee?
Come. Trade.
There walks the Outlander who is May your enemies fall.
Take to
Every
the
battle
skies.
brings all these lands.
I hear the battle at the
The
end.
Outlander has shown
My
us
strength is yours.
we must join the coup.
I don't care what you say. She flew.
She flailed. Were you there?
My brother will make it.
We walk in strength.
May the 10 die.
I'll stash this away for later.
Show your face.
Hey,
Tame
stranger.
machines and disguise.
Are you looking to trade?
Incredible battles.
Do you need anything beyond the cosmetic?
Well, she sure proved Tekote wrong.